Getting the Hardaway Sutton T back with another EP. And I'm glad y'all good folks could make it. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Today, we here with the fight breakdown and prediction between Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz. Let me say what's up to the people in the building before I do anything. What's good, brother? Do appreciate you sliding through. TWT is in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good, my brother? We got Josh Sanders 86. What's good, Josh Sanders 86? Appreciate you sliding through this junk, G. Glad you can make it. D-Man Jr., my brother D-Man. What's good, my blood cuz? Appreciate you sliding through this junk. Tay D, what's good, brother? Tay D, my big homie Tay D. Always coming here with some shit, boy. Shout out Tay D. I love seeing Tay D come through here because I know he gonna always have input. I know he gonna always have an input. Shout out my guy Tay D. D-Man, DP Rocker, what's good? DP, TWT in the building. Appreciate you sliding through this jump. My guy Josh said I'm predicting Ortiz stops Ruiz in round 9. Our first prediction of the day. Rip Jones, what's good? Rip Jones, do you know Roy Jones? I see that RJ right there. If you know Roy Jones, tell him holla at me, Rip. Appreciate you sliding through this, John Rip. Glad you could make it, pimp. Glad you could make it. So y'all do your boy a favor, right? Whether you here for a good time or a long time, if y'all could, smash that like button for your boy. I don't know if this y'all first time, right? But if you could, not make it y'all last time, right? Could you do your boy a favor? While you smashing that like button, could you jab that subscription button for your boy as well? We'll greatly appreciate it. But today we talking about Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz fight breakdown and prediction. They have this top 5 heavyweight bout is coming up this Saturday, which will be tomorrow. You know what I mean? Main event. Andy Ruiz is coming off a victory over Chris Arreola. You know what I mean? He was dropped in that fight with Chris Arreola. Some may say that Andy Ruiz struggled in that fight with Chris Arreola. You know what I mean? I personally thought that Andy Ruiz would do a lot better in that fight with Chris Arreola. I don't think he did bad in that fight with Chris Arreola. But if anybody had told me that, the old Chris Arreola would have knocked down Andy Ruiz in that fight, I wouldn't have guessed that. You know what I mean? Luis Ortiz is coming out his fight with Charles Martin. Again, some people will tell you that, right? Andy Ruiz looked bad in his last fight. You know what I mean? Bad, right? Bad wouldn't be the word that I would use for Luis Ortiz's last performance. Hold on, y'all, give me a second. About to go grab these scissors real quick. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, my bad. But bad wouldn't be the word that I would use for Luis Ortiz's last performance, right? I think what we saw in Luis Ortiz's last performance. Give me a second, G. Give me a second, man. Give me a second, man. Give me a second, y'all. Y'all know your boy got to get right. Y'all know your boy got to get right. My bad, y'all. My bad. But yeah, what's good, Yoda? Appreciate you sliding through this, John Yoda Wise. Glad you can make it, pimp. Glad you can make it. TWT in the building. Yeah, and back to what I was saying, right? Real quick. Some people feel like in Andy Ruiz's last fight that he looked bad. He had bad performance, right? Right. And then we got Luis Ortiz, right? Some people feel like Some people, he was dropped by straight Luis Ortiz. I mean, he was dropped by straight Andy Ruiz was in his last fight, Rip. But yeah, some people feel like Luis Ortiz also did bad in his last fight. You know what I mean? He was dropped twice by Charles Martin. You know what I mean? And this fight is interesting. Like, this fight is interesting for a few reasons. Again, I appreciate everybody sliding through. If y'all could smash that like button for your boy, whether you're here for a good time or a long time. No, Ortiz got dropped by a right hook, overhand right hook. He had his head down, and dude hit him with the overhand coming up, kind of like boost punch a little bit. That's what happened to Ortiz. He didn't get dropped by. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm about to talk about it. I'm about to talk about it. Real appreciate y'all good folks sliding through this junk. You know, all the feedback, coming, supporting, all that good shit. But yeah, so Andy Ruiz got dropped in his last fight. A lot of people said that, you know, Andy Ruiz did bad in his last fight. Luis Ortiz got dropped twice in his last fight. A lot of people feel like because he got dropped twice, he did bad also. I'm going to tell y'all why both of them got dropped. I'm going to tell you just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why both them got dropped, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm concerned. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm concerned, right? Damn, y'all didn't waste no time leaving this motherfucker, did it? But yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all why they both got dropped, and I'm gonna tell y'all why you know, I'm not as concerned about one fighter as I am, you know, about the other one and the reason getting dropped. So let's start with Andy Ruiz, right? Andy Ruiz faced off against Chris Arreola. You know what I mean? That was a fight where I pretty much expected Andy Ruiz to go in there, pretty much roll over Chris Arreola. You know what I mean? I think most people expect Andy Ruiz to go in there and pretty much roll over Chris Arreola, right? But it didn't quite go that way. Chris Arreola pull up more than, you know, a form of the test for Andy Ruiz. But I think Andy Ruiz, right, the reason Andy Ruiz got dropped, right, I think Andy Ruiz made that fight a lot harder than it had to be, right? What you mean, Southern T? Andy Ruiz made that fight a lot harder than it had to be. I think Andy Ruiz made that fight with Chris Arreola a lot harder than it had to be because he abandoned his own game plan. You know what I mean? And now he didn't abandon his game plan completely, right? But he abandoned his game plan when Chris Arreola would return fire or land on him. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy if you in the building. He changed his game plan when Chris Arreola landed on him. Andy Ruiz, I got you, Crush. I got you, Crush. Andy Ruiz, right? Andy Ruiz, right? You know, he was the favorite in that fight, and he was boxing well. True enough, he was hitting Chris Arreola with some shit. He was getting out first on Chris Arreola, and he was, you know, tagging Chris Arreola. He was pretty much controlling that fight well. You know what I mean? But something changed in that fight around round 2 or 3, right? Might have been round 2. Something changed in that fight, right? Andy Ruiz, you know, he got a little too comfortable. He got a little too reckless. And that allowed Chris Arreola to start to counter Andy Ruiz, right? It's like, actually, Chris Arreola started to land on Andy Ruiz, right? And when Chris Arreola started to land on Andy Ruiz just a little bit, not even landing, you know, not even landing continuously, right? Not even landing repetitively on Andy Ruiz. Chris Arreola landed a couple shots. And it's like as soon as Luis Ortiz got hit, right? Luis Ortiz started to abandon his game plan. I feel like not Luis Ortiz. As soon as Andy Ruiz got hit, my bad, y'all. As soon as Andy Ruiz got hit, right, by Chris Arreola, he started to abandon his game plan. You know what I mean? Instead of walking in with the head movement, you know, firing off his jab like he was doing in the fight early, having success. When Chris Arreola started returning fire on Andy Ruiz kind of just engaged in the fight. He didn't, you know, stick to his guns. He didn't stick to his boxing ability, jab and head movement, which had got him, you know, up, you know, which had him controlling the fight up until that point of the first knockdown. What's good, Judah? Appreciate you sliding through this, John Judah being glad you could make it, pimp. Glad you could make it. Can y'all do your boy a favor? Can y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in? But yeah, so Andrew Ruiz, Andrew Ruiz has stopped doing the things that made him successful in this fight, which was the coming in with the jab, coming in with the head movement and following up your shots behind your jab and your head movement once Chris Arreola started to hit him. And that was a red flag. Like my girl Quee be saying, like my sister Quee be saying, red flag. That was a red flag for me. Because that means that you could be disciplined within your game plan, right? As long as nobody is returning fire. That means once you get hit, you kind of revert back. You kind of revert, to some bad habits. I'm not gonna say back to any bad habits, right? But you kind of revert to bad habits when you are hit. Even if you're winning the fight, even if you're winning the boxing match, Andrew Ruiz, when the guy hits you, you kind of engage him in the fights. Andrew Ruiz has really quick hands. That's Andrew Ruiz's biggest advantage, if you're asking me, is his hand speed, right? He has really quick hands. So that allowed him to be able to walk in on Arreola, hit him with some jabs, hit him with some punches, hit him cleanly. And he wasn't even getting hit back by Chris Arreola, right? It's when Chris Arreola hit Andrew Ruiz that one time, right? It's when Chris Arreola hit Andrew Ruiz once. Andrew Ruiz, instead of, resetting, you know what I mean? Or instead of Andrew Ruiz, continuing to be patient and take his time, Andrew Ruiz would try to answer right back. Like as soon as Chris Arreola started to land on Andrew Ruiz, would fire back. Like Andrew Ruiz was walking in with his jab, right? With the head movement, he was landing on Chris. Boom, boom. Chris wasn't really giving him too much. He couldn't catch up with him. Andrew Ruiz got just a tad bit more comfortable, right? So he got a tad bit more close. Chris Arreola was able to land a little bit now. So when Chris Arreola started to land on Andrew Ruiz, instead of Andrew Ruiz, sticking to his boxing ability, right? Sticking to his head movement, Andrew Ruiz then started to counterpunch Chris Arreola, and that opened up the room for Chris Arreola to knock Andrew Ruiz down. So what I noticed, Andrew Ruiz, yes, he is a great counterpuncher. That may be his best asset. But Andrew Ruiz can be caught in between the exchanges while counterpunching, which is how Chris Arreola was able to have success. He was catching Andrew Ruiz in between the exchanges on the counterpunches. Chris Arreola was able to knock Andrew Ruiz down also during one of these exchanges. So that right there, opened it up to me that Andrew Ruiz, if he sticks to his plan, he's hard to beat. But Andrew Ruiz also opened up to me that Andrew Ruiz may be a tad bit undisciplined, right? Because if you hit him, he's one of those guys that want to hit you right back. You know what I mean? So I would favor, Andrew Ruiz in this fight. I would favor, right, Andrew Ruiz in this fight off top. But Andrew Ruiz leaves himself open because he's an aggressive counter fighter. So he leaves himself open for return fire. And he was knocked down by Chris Arreola, right? So now let's move to Luis King Kong Ortiz. Now, Luis King Kong Ortiz, and I want y'all to understand what I'm saying when I say this. My bad, y'all. I didn't mean to take my camera off. I want y'all to, did I take my camera off? Oh, no, I did. My bad. Y'all, can y'all do your boy a favor? Can y'all hit that like button for your boy when you roll on in? Can y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in? Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, could you smash that like button? But let's get on to King Kong Ortiz. Now, I want y'all to understand what I'm saying when I say this, right? Understand what I'm saying when I say this. I think King Kong Luis Ortiz has looked the worst I ever seen him look in a fight. You know what I mean? His last fight versus Charles Martin. I'm going to say that again. I think Luis Ortiz looked the worst that I ever seen him look in his career in his last fight with Charles Martin, right? But with that being said, it's only the worst I ever seen Ortiz look before, right? Because Ortiz is one of those guys, who don't really have bad performances, right? In that performance against Charles Martin, I viewed it a little different, from everybody else. I believe, right? Yes, Ortiz is one of the best heavyweights in the game right now, right? But Luis Ortiz is slowing down, just a little bit. Rather, Luis Ortiz is slowing down just a little bit, you know. Whether I like it or want to accept it, you know, it is true, which is how a guy, right, like Charles Martin was able to compete with him in his last fight. So Andy Ruiz Jr., you know, stepped into the ring with a guy that Andrew Ruiz Jr., right, stepped into the ring with a guy that I thought shouldn't be able to compete with him because Andrew Ruiz is the younger, you know, more experienced, fresher guy. But he found himself in a dogfight. Luis Ortiz stepped into a fight with a guy in Charles Martin. What's good, J-Man? Appreciate you sliding through this, John. J-Man, great. Glad you could make it, pimp. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you walk on in. Shout out my TWT brother, TWT Philippines, TWT International. My brother J-Man Gray was good. So Charles Martin, right? So Andrew Reed, Andrew Reed looked really bad his last fight, right? And I think Luis Ortiz looked as bad as I have seen him look in the fight. You know what I mean? But the difference between right Andrew Reed and Luis Ortiz, right, going into that fight, yes, Luis Ortiz was seen as the favorite. He was supposed to beat Charles Martin, but we all understand Luis Ortiz is getting just a little bit older, right? So Charles Martin is the much younger guy, right? He's the much younger guy. So I expected Luis Ortiz to slow down just a little bit, right? Now, I didn't expect Luis Ortiz to get dropped. And I damn sure didn't expect Luis Ortiz to get dropped twice, right? But when Luis Ortiz got dropped, right? And let me rent your boxing MMA. Luis Ortiz got dropped, right? And Andrew Ruiz got dropped, right? But this is the difference that I saw. Like I was just saying, Andrew Ruiz got dropped because once he got hit, he decided to engage. Luis Ortiz got dropped within a boxing exchange. Luis Ortiz never got away from his fundamentals in his fight. Luis Ortiz, you know, got caught slipping by a much younger, longer, rangier, taller fighter. Luis Ortiz had to work his way on the inside of Charles Martin, and Luis Ortiz did it with education. But, you know, Charles Martin is much younger. Charles Martin has a much longer reach. You know, he is the younger guy. So I think because Ortiz is getting up in age and Charles Martin is really in his prime, you know, like 32 years old, he's really in his prime. I think that balanced that fight out a little more. You know what I mean? Yes, Ortiz is the much bigger name, but when you go on prime for prime, physical ability for physical ability, Charles Martin is in his prime and Ortiz is on the back end, right? So I expected a little bit of a struggle with Ortiz and Martin. Didn't expect him to get dropped twice, but I expected a little bit of a struggle. But he also got dropped within being disciplined in his own skills. Andrew Ruiz could have won that fight pretty easily, and he decided to engage. He got sucked into a fight, and that's what made his fight so close, right? And I said that to say this. What I took from both those guys' knockdowns in last fight is Andrew Ruiz, he could be taking out his game. Andrew Ruiz will engage with you. Andrew Ruiz will fire back if you hit him. King Kong Ortiz, he's a little older. He's lost a step, but he's still very, very disciplined in his craft. He's still very, very tight-knit. And I believe Charles Martin was able to land, you know, that shot on him because Charles Martin was punching down at an angle above him. Ortiz had his head down. Charles Martin could see over him. So Charles Martin threw, you know, that right. Ortiz is taller than Andy Ruiz. He's either taller or about the same height, which we're about to check out pretty soon because I'm going to give you their box rates and their breakdowns and everything. You know, appreciate y'all sliding through this jump. Shout out my guy, Edgar Chavez. What's good, Edgar Chavez? What's good, Edgar Chavez? Appreciate you sliding through this jump, Edgar. Glad you can make it. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all jab that like button for your boy when you roll on in. He said, Ortiz got no chin. That's the issue. We go get into it, brother. We go get into it. I'm going to bring up the box rate. We finna get into it. Shout out my guy, Bernard Attenborough. Can you do your boy a favor, Bernard? Can you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel when you roll on in? Greatly appreciate it. I'm at the breakdown portion right now. I'm breaking down both fighters sides. You know, I broke down Andy Ruiz first. I'm breaking down Ortiz now. You know what I mean? I'm about to bring it out home together for y'all in just a second. But if y'all could, do your boy a favor, smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in, whether you're here for a good time or a long time. Greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. But yeah, Ortiz, one thing I know is Ortiz stays disciplined inside of his craft, right? He stayed disciplined inside of his craft, and Andy Ruiz will engage with you. You know, you could get him off of his game. Now the two things that's alarming for both fighters, right? The two things that's alarming for both fighters, right? Now, in these exchanges, right? The reason that I'm scared for Luis Ortiz is because Andy Ruiz has extremely fast hands. When I say extremely fast hands, I mean extremely fast hands, right? Like sometimes, bro, the boy can throw a punch and then he'll follow up with a right hand that I even never seen coming sitting at home, because how the fuck is this fat dude hand so fucking fast? How is he throwing all these fucking combinations? You know what I mean? How the fuck is he getting off all these combinations? And this nigga look like a fucking tennis ball around this motherfucker. How is this dude this fucking quick? But Andy Ruiz got fast ass hands. And when you got fast ass hands, that's good in those exchanges. That's great in those exchanges when you got fast ass hands. He's outsparred Ruiz and Areola. Drops Ortiz. Imagine Wilder landing on Ruiz. Wilder beat Areola in their fight with a jab. You know what I mean? So he got and Ruiz got extremely fast hands, right? So that's where I'm scared for Luis Ortiz in this fight. Like, yeah, like I know the speed advantage is Andy. The power advantage is Luis Ortiz. I believe Luis Ortiz is more disciplined. I believe Andy has youth, and he has youth on his side. You know what I mean? In this fight, he has youth, and he got them quick hands. You know what I mean? This fight is going to be tough. You know, I mean, it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be tough for Luis Ortiz to win. For Luis Ortiz to be able to win this fight, right? Because you know he's going to box. You know he's going to throw his jab. And Ruiz got those quick hands. So in my mind, right, when Luis Ortiz is throwing his jabs, and Ruiz is going to throw about 2 or 3 of those things, right? Because Ortiz would be seen as the better boxer. Pretty sure both these guys are press forward fighters, so they're going to be in the center of the ring, right? Type deal. So in my mind, Ortiz, you know, he's going to be boxing, getting his jab off, but Ruiz is going to be countering him while he's trying to get all of this shit off. You know what I mean? He's going to be countering him while he's trying to get all this shit off. That's where Luis Ortiz got to be aware, because if you get hit, because we seen in your last fight with Charles Martin, right? To the point my guy Bernard made. You know, we seen in your last fight with Charles Martin, your chin isn't necessarily what it used to be. Still a damn good chin. You only been knocked out by Wilder, right? But Charles Martin was able to knock you down. So your chin isn't exactly what it used to be. And that's what brings up the red flag for me with Luis Ortiz in this fight. Also, silver lining in this, right? Silver lining is Andy Ruiz does have fast hands, but he doesn't possess the height and reach that Charles Martin had, or he doesn't possess the height and reach that Deontay Wilder has, right? So only a certain kind of fighter has had success on Luis Ortiz, and Andy Ruiz isn't typically the style of fighter that has success with Luis Ortiz. But Luis Ortiz, again, like I stated earlier, he looked the worst that I ever seen him look in his last fight. You know what I mean? For Andy Ruiz, he's going to have to, really with Andy Ruiz should win this fight, y'all. Understand what I'm saying? Andy Ruiz should win this fight. Andy Ruiz just has to stay disciplined, right? He has to not get caught up in that trap of throwing too many counter punches. You know what I mean? Because Ortiz is going to use his jab. Ortiz going to try to, Ortiz is going to use his jab. He going to try to keep him, at the end of his punches. They're going to meet in the center of the ring, but there's a certain distance Ortiz likes to fight at. You know what I mean? So Andrew Ruiz to win this fight, he's going to have to stay disciplined within what he does, and that's head movement and counterpuncher. Just because Ortiz hits you one time, don't mean you got to abandon your whole game and try to hit him back every time he hits you. Because as you know, Ortiz is a good counterpuncher too. You may have faster hands at this point in your career, right? You're quicker, but he's stronger. You know what I mean? Both guys have been dropped. You know what I mean? Ruiz dropped by Areola. Ortiz dropped by Chris Martin. You know, I mean, I said Chris Martin. Charles Martin. You know what I mean? Both guys have been dropped. So I think both guys need to be aware of the other guys. You know, Andrew Ruiz is the speed is power guy. Ortiz has power at this later age. His speed, he's lost a little speed, but he still has that overwhelming power. You know what I mean? This fight gonna come down to whoever can be more disciplined in their own game. You know what I mean? Ruiz can't get caught up in just exchanging with Ortiz. Yes, or when Ortiz, when Ortiz, fires at you, yes, exchange Andrew Ruiz, but instead of throwing 3 and 4 punch combinations, they got you dropped against Chris Areola, right? Just throw your 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Just throw your 1 or 2, move your head, get up out of there, reset. You know what I mean, Andy? Because that's what got you in trouble with Chris Areola. You wanted to oblige him in the fight when you didn't have to do that. You was beating Chris Areola ass for a good shit. You was beating his ass for the majority of that fight before that knockdown. You was beating his ass pretty easily. It's when Andrew Ruiz starts to land a little bit. When he gets comfortable in the fight, he starts to press the action, looking for the knockout. And that's what get him in trouble. You know what I mean? If Andrew Ruiz needs to make this a fight. Andrew Ruiz needs to make this a fight in spurts. He has to win the exchanges versus Ortiz. When Ortiz, comes in with that jab, Ortiz has to work the body, head movement, work the body, and make Ortiz pay in order to win this fight. I believe in this fight. Luis Ortiz, I believe he's going to. I think people are weighing heavily on what happened in that Charles Martin fight when they look at this fight with Luis Ortiz and Andrew Ruiz. Son, T, what you mean? Yes, Luis Ortiz did look, the worst we've seen him look in his career, but to the same extent. What's good, Tail? Appreciate you sliding through this, John. Tail Skywalker, TWT in the building. Quick. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Queen, TWT in the building. Appreciate you sliding on in. But yeah, a lot of people are looking heavily at, how Luis Ortiz looked in his last fight with Charles Martin. He got dropped twice. Yes, I understand. He did get dropped twice. It did look bad. But I want you guys to understand, Charles Martin is a tall fighter. Charles Martin is much younger than Luis Ortiz, just like Andy. But Charles Martin is a long-rangey fighter. You know what I mean? He's taller than Ortiz, much taller than Ortiz. He's rangier than Ortiz. That means he's the one that was controlling the distance, keeping Ortiz on the outside. Charles Martin had great feet. Listen to me. Charles Martin had great feet in which he was able to frustrate Ortiz a little bit, make it harder for him, move his feet, laying shots on Ortiz, dance on him, style on him. That's why Ortiz didn't look his best, because normally it's Ortiz that's doing those things along with his power. But Charles Martin is just young enough, just tall enough, arms just long enough, he can box just good enough. Charles Martin is an Olympian. People forget that. Charles Martin is an Olympian. I'm going to say that again. You know what I mean? He was able to give Ortiz fits because styles makes matchup. And he's a boxer just like Ortiz, but he's a younger, faster, quicker boxer right now, rangier. Andrew Ruiz isn't as rangy. Andrew Ruiz don't have feet like that. And Andy Ruiz is an Olympian. You know what I mean? So I think the people that's weighing heavily on what happened in that fight with Charles Martin, they looking at it from the wrong angle. And I did it on purpose. They looking at it from the wrong angle. Charles Martin angle is up here over Ortiz. And the Ruiz angle is down here. That means Ortiz is over him. So that means Ortiz is going to be picking at him, picking at Andy. And we've seen Andy go down enough times. Yeah, when Ortiz throw heels, Andy go return fire. But Ortiz is disciplined. He still got better feet than Andy, even at 40 years old. So Ortiz just throwing his shit. He go do what Ortiz do. He go move around. He go come back with the hooks and everything. And if Andy don't stick to his game plan, head movement, getting in and out, he go get caught by some of those Ortiz counter punches. Because we forget that Ortiz is a great counter puncher as fucking well. You know what I mean? So if Andy stands in front of Luis Ortiz, if Andy is a stationary target, Andy's going to sleep, y'all. And if Luis Ortiz, if he gasses, if he lets off the gas at any point, if he slows down at any point because Andy Ruiz don't slow down, you know what I mean? He keeps coming. It's going to be your job to not get tired and keep putting the hurt on him because whether he's throwing punches or not, even if he's tired, he going to keep walking towards you as Andy Ruiz. If Luis Ortiz, conditioning or his age, plays a factor in this, Luis Ortiz very well could get stopped too, y'all. I can see Andy Ruiz rolling up those combinations. And if Luis Ortiz, is not able to get away from him, Andy go put him out of there. You know what I mean? TKO stoppage. I don't see him knocking Luis Ortiz out cold, but I most definitely could see Andy Ruiz putting together a fucking 5-6 punch combination together. You know what I mean? And the referee jumping in and, stopping the fight type deal. But I'm getting into my prediction portion of the video. I got Luis King Kong Ortiz, 10th round knockout. I got Luis King Kong Ortiz beating Andy Ruiz, 10th round knockout. I see Andy Ruiz, coming out with his game plan, but I see him getting a little frustrated with the jab of Ortiz, with him not being able to land as cleanly with his counter shots as he want. I see Andy Ruiz, trying to – actually, I'm going King Kong, Luis Ortiz, 8th round knockout. I'm going 8th round knockout, Luis King Kong Ortiz. I think there's going to be a point in this fight where Andy Ruiz going to realize that he really can't box with Luis Ortiz, and he going to try to press the gas on Luis Ortiz. And I think Luis Ortiz is going to end up knocking Andy Ruiz out cold. I've seen Andy, get dropped on his butt a few times by guys who don't punch as hard as Luis Ortiz. I've seen how susceptible Andy Ruiz is to counter punches. He's a great counter puncher himself, one of the better counter punchers today, but he's also susceptible to counter punches. And if you're in there with a guy like Ortiz who has that power and counter punching ability, you get caught with enough of those Ortiz counter punches, it's going to be night-night. Actually, you don't even got to get caught with enough of Ortiz's counter punches. You can get caught with one. That's the kind of power that Luis Ortiz has. You know what I mean? So I got Luis Ortiz, round 8 stoppage over Andy Ruiz. I'm taking an upset this weekend. Greatly appreciate y'all sliding through. I'm about to do some more fight breakdown and predictions. So, y'all sliding on in. Y'all check them joints. I greatly appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing. Skin the Heart Away, Southern T. I got Andy Ruiz and Nate. Y'all tell a friend. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But just the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.